In this video, we will demonstrate the proper disassembly, cleaning, and maintenance of the Wilson Combat EDC X9. For reliable function, clean and lubricate the EDC X9 as you would a normal 1911 model pistol. It is advised to clean your handgun thoroughly as soon as operation becomes sluggish or impaired. Warning: never adjust or alter the internal components of this firearm unless specifically directed to do so in this tutorial. Doing so may cause an unsafe condition and could result in serious injury or death. Please contact Wilson Combat directly if you feel the firearm is in need of alteration or adjustment that is not covered in this tutorial. Anyone other than a Wilson Combat pistolsmith performing gunsmithing or repair work on your firearm may result in a nullification of our customer service policy. To perform the full extended service on your weapon, you will need the following: a can of solvent degreaser, bore cleaner to remove copper fouling, a bottle of carbon remover, a high-quality oil such as our Ultima Lube series, a 9mm nylon bore brush, a soft bristled nylon brush, a firing pinhole brush, a 1/8 inch punch, a 50 thousandths hex key, a plastic armorer's tool, and patches with a slotted tip attachment. When operating, disassembling, or cleaning any firearm, always wear adequate eye protection. Field stripping and cleaning the EDC X9 pistol. Remove the magazine and set it aside. Manually lock back the slide and inspect your chamber to confirm the pistol is unloaded. Retract the slide to align the takedown notch of the slide with the inner lug of the slide stop. Completely push the slide stop out and remove. Push the slide assembly forward and off the frame while capturing the recoil spring and guide under the slide with your cupped fingers. The recoil spring is under tension, so carefully remove the recoil spring and guide rod from the slide assembly. Push the recoil spring plug rearward to remove from the slide. Pivot the barrel link forward and down against the underside of the barrel chamber and pull the barrel out of the front of the slide. With your thumb on the hammer, pull the trigger and carefully lower the hammer so it's resting against the frame. Always ease the hammer down gently. Allowing the hammer to strike the frame with the full spring force can cause damage to your frame. Using the takedown tool or an 1/8 inch punch, insert it in the hole at the bottom of the frame to compress the mainspring housing. At the same time, press upward on the bottom of the backstrap beaver tail to pivot it away from the frame. The backstrap will come free and pivot away from the grips. Slide the grip panels to the rear and off the pistol. Apply Wilson Combat Carbon Remover or Universal Bore Cleaner to the internal areas of the disassembled firearm that are caked with fouling or carbon. Use a nylon brush to remove residue. Wipe away dirt and fouling on the interior and exterior of the firearm with non-abrasive patches or swabs. Use degreaser to clean the interior of the slide and allow 3 to 5 minutes to dry. Or apply pressure-regulated compressed air to speed this up. Once dry, apply Ultima Lube to the contact surfaces. Carbon remover should be applied to the rails and contact surfaces of the frame. The sear, hammer, disconnector, and hammer strut are accessible underneath the backstrap. Degrease this area, dry thoroughly, and relubricate. Inspecting the Shok-buff. Every time you clean your pistol, it's important to check your Wilson Combat Shok-buff for visible signs of cutting or damage. At minimum, replace the buffer every 1,200 rounds. Remove the Shok-buff from the base of the guide rod, inspect both sides, and replace it if cut, torn, or swollen. Wipe down the guide rod with a clean patch and align the groove at the top of the Shok-buff with the base of the guide rod before fitting on the recoil spring. The buffer is recommended for general use, but not required for safe and reliable operation of the EDC X9. Cleaning the barrel. To clean your X9 barrel, attach a 9mm nylon bore brush to the cleaning rod and apply bore cleaner liberally. Run the brush through the bore several times, pushing the rod all of the way through. Spray degreaser through the barrel and allow to dry. Replace the brush on the cleaning rod with the slotted tip and run patches through the bore until they are no longer dirty. Servicing the extractor. Every 6,000 rounds, Wilson Combat recommends servicing the extractor assembly and replacing the extractor spring on the EDC X9. For this step, you will need a 50 thousandths hex key and a replacement extractor spring. Insert the hex key into the hole on the top right side of the slide, near the rear. Insert the hex key into the extractor pin hole on the top right side of the slide and loosen the threaded bolt. Remove the extractor and the old spring. Apply carbon remover to the interior of the slide. Brush thoroughly and apply degreaser. Allow to dry. Clean the extractor by applying carbon remover, brush thoroughly, and wipe with a clean patch. Do not apply oil to the extractor assembly. Place the new spring at the rear of the extractor port and cover with the extractor. Fit the threaded extractor pin into the hole at the top of the slide and tighten with the hex key. Servicing the firing pin. At 6,000 round intervals, it is also recommended that you replace the spring on your firing pin. Using a 1/8 inch punch, depress the firing pin into the slide. Pass the firing pin stop and carefully slide the stop away, keeping control of the loose pin. Remove the pin from the slide. Using a dry firing pin brush, thoroughly clean the firing pin hole. Place a new spring over the firing pin. Reinsert the firing pin into the slide and position the stop into place. Compress the end of the firing pin until it passes the stop and slide the stop into place until the head of the firing pin extrudes through the firing pin hole. Replacing grips and backstrap. The EDC X9 offers a variety of interchangeable grips and backstraps to personalize your shooting experience. To replace your grips, move the thumb safety down into the firing position and gently lower the hammer. Insert a 1/8 inch punch into the hole located at the back of the magwell, releasing the backstrap and removing the grips. Now cock the hammer. With the backstrap loose, move the safety halfway between positions, pressing on the safety pin on the opposite side of the frame until the safety assembly begins to move away from the frame. Using a non-marring polymer tool or with your fingers, begin to pry the safety from the frame. Caution: the safety stop plunger is under tension. Be sure to maintain control of it with the tip of the tool until the safety is completely removed. Remove the backstrap and replace, aligning the holes in the backstrap with the frame. Reinsert the safety post through the backstrap. and position the safety lever halfway between safe and fire. Now, using the thin end of your non-marring tool or an old credit card, carefully apply tension to the tip of the safety stop plunger until the safety assembly can be pressed past it into the frame. Now you're ready to reassemble your EDC X9. Slide the grip panels back onto the frame. Keeping your thumb on the spur of the hammer, pull the trigger and gently lower the hammer so it's resting against the frame. Take an 1/8 inch punch and insert it into the hole at the bottom of the frame and compress the mainspring housing while pushing the backstrap closed against the frame and grip panels. Pull back on the hammer. Insert the barrel back in the slide and rotate the barrel link all the way to the rear. Reinstall the recoil spring plug in the slide. Start the open end of the recoil spring into the recoil spring plug and compress the recoil spring on the guide rod and slide up in front of the barrel lugs with the notch of the Shok-buff facing the top of the slide. Apply lubricant at the rail contact points. Keep the recoil spring and guide rod captured in the slide with your cupped fingers as you reinstall the slide assembly on the frame. Line up the barrel link with the slide stop hole. A small punch will help here. And insert the slide stop shaft into the frame. Retract the slide and line up the takedown notch in the slide with the inside slide stop lug and carefully push it into the frame. Relax tension on the slide and you have the pistol fully reassembled. Cycle the slide and function check the weapon to confirm that you have the pistol assembled correctly, and wipe off any excess lubricant that has migrated out. Check for proper function before loading with live ammunition. The following is the recommended maintenance schedule for the EDC-9 and EDC X9 pistols. Every 300 rounds, field strip, quick clean the slide and frame rail area, barrel exterior and chamber, lube frame rails, barrel hood, and barrel locking lugs. Every 1200 rounds, field strip, thoroughly clean, inspect the condition of the Shok-buff, and replace if there's any signs of cutting. Re-lube. Every 6,000 rounds. Perform the 1200 round recommended maintenance plus the following. Remove the extractor and clean underneath it. Replace the extractor spring when you reinstall. Remove the firing pin. Clean the firing pin hole. Replace the firing pin spring when you reinstall. Remove the grip and clean the fire control components. Re-lube before reassembly.